And as Carrie said just last week, pharmaceutical company Pfizer announced that they had developed a coronavirus vaccine that was more than 90% effective. 2 days ago, Moderna indicated that their vaccine was 94.5% percent effective against the virus. So does this mean that the race to COVID-19 vaccine is near the finish line? Joining us via Zoom is Dr. Erica Wheeler, country representative for PAHO at WHO and for Trinidad and Tobago and the Dutch Kingdom Islands. Good morning, Dr. Wheeler.
Good morning, Lisa. I see you all are having a very joyful morning.
Well, we want to keep our spirits up, because so many things are happening this year. Our role is to really keep people a little bit, keep their spirits up optimistic while we go through or navigate whatever we have to during the day. How have you been, Dr. Wheeler? It feels like I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a long time, Lisa. I miss seeing you.
Yeah. All right. So what does this mean when we hear the announcement of these two vaccines, one 90% efficacy, the other one 94.5? What does it mean for the race to the finish line?
Well, it is good news because we were hoping at least by the middle of next year that we would have a vaccine. So it is good news. And obviously, there's a bit of competition, as you would see, between the two, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's the end of the road. For example, even for the Moderna vaccine, they're saying, there's still a couple more months to go while they continue with the trials, because remember, they're in phase 3 trials, and yes, they're showing efficacy, but we have issues to do with quality and suitability as well as safety.
Yes.
Pfizer Bion vaccine that came out, they came out with their announcement first. They seem to be saying that by the end of the year, they will have enough doses, 21 million, to start distributing in the US.
Yeah.
But again, there are other issues to be looked at. For example, with the Pfizer Bion vaccine, it has to be stored at extremely low temperatures.
That's what I was seeing, which
Yes.
means that it's not very easy for persons to store it in a refrigerator, or even for doctors to have it in their regular storage in their offices.
Exactly. There will have to be special equipment, and even in some of the US hospitals, they don't have that kind of facility as yet.
Yeah.
So this will be certainly an inhibition for that vaccine. For the other one, they seem to say that it can be stored at more normal temperatures. But again, nothing is going to happen overnight. There will have to be pre-qualification by WHO. And it doesn't mean it will drag on, but there must be a process to do the quality, safety, efficacy, and suitability.
Yeah.
Good news is one, the Moderna has been tested on 30,000 persons, and the Pfizer Bion vaccine, BioNTech, has been tested on over 43,000. So the numbers sound good, but they also have not published all the data to show all the analytics. So we still have a little way to go, but certainly we should be optimistic, because we were hoping for 2 to 3 vaccines by the middle of next year. And they have promised to produce vaccines at scale.
Right. So, how does this work given Trinidad and Tobago's participation in COVAX, which we spoke about earlier this year?
Okay, so there are two things. The Moderna vaccine was always part of COVAX. The Pfizer BioNTech vaccine was not initially, but WHO and PAHO were working furiously with the manufacturers through Gavi and CEPI, the vaccine manufacturers, that coalition that's called COVAX, to actually get the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine to be part of the COVAX facility, meaning it can be available globally, despite the fact that we just spoke about the limitations of storage.
Yeah.
But discussions are going on even this week to find out the appetite of countries in other parts of the world except the US for this vaccine. The other thing we must note is that the cost of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine is higher than that which was initially indicated for the other vaccines. So there will have to be some negotiation. There was discussion of the cost being $19.50 per 2 doses, whereas there was something around $11.10 for the
Yeah.
previous two doses. So there is a difference. So there's cost, there's transportation, and there's storage.
Dr. Wheeler, we just have a few more minutes, but just to remind persons what COVAX means and what it would mean for Trinidad and Tobago with regard
Okay.
to vaccines.
Okay, so COVAX is the world's largest, I would say it's a group of WHO, UNICEF, PAHO, Gavi Alliance, which is the alliance that distributes vaccines all around the world, particularly to low and middle income countries, with something called CEPI, which are vaccine manufacturers. They have come together and countries have advanced funding to this facility so that vaccines could be produced even before we find out which ones would be safe and efficacious. So this is a global movement. It's the first of its kind in the world, this COVAX facility, and it is meant to ensure that all countries around the world get access to these safe, efficacious vaccines once they are available.
All right. Well, we're going to have to leave it there, Dr. Wheeler. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to clarify some of these concerns with regard to the vaccines that we're hearing about. But that was Dr. Erica Wheeler, country representative for PAHO WHO for Trinidad and Tobago and the Dutch Kingdom Islands, with some information there.